The fifth category that's so very, very different is also as important and is of course extremely controversial, and that topic is pro-life. Pro-life is a blasphemy against the Word of God. Pro-life is one of the most evil things ever to come along. Anybody who's pro-life hates the Word of God, and I prove it. The reason why it's important to say that is because God is not into politics, but all the pro-lifers are. The pro-lifers are Revelation 17 harlots, every single one of them. And most of them, of course, don't even know that that's what they are. They don't know that they're violating the Word of God. Partly that's due to the fact that the Bible is mistranslated by very, how do you want to call it, politically correct translators who don't want you to know what the Bible really says. And the other half of the reason why pro-lifers don't know is that they don't read the Bible that is properly translated. So what I'm doing in the pro-life series, which isn't finished yet, none of my series are finished really, is demonstrating from the Bible that pro-life is anti-biblical. Abortion is not murder. It doesn't mean you run out and get one. It's a different kind of question, though. It's like, do you wait for the fetus to come to term because only God creates life at birth? God's big point in the Bible is that God creates life at birth. God is the only author of life, not the womb. This is never alive. This is just a biological machine. And the pagans mistook this biological machine as being life, and Christians are just as pagan as the pagans. They mistake all this movement and corpuscles and stuff as if it were alive. It's not. And that's why you're not evolved. That's why salvation is permanent. That's why you have to be born again spiritually. That's why you can go to heaven when you die, because this is never you to start with. And that's why the human nature is tripartite when saved: body, soul, and spirit. And you will not understand salvation, you will not understand the spiritual life, you will not understand why you are not evolved, because the real human person is the soul, not this. You won't understand any of those doctrines, and you will perpetually be a spiritual baby, even if you're saved, if you don't learn that God creates life at birth. And that's in Genesis 2:7. It's even well translated. Well, mostly. So that's a major fifth difference, is I have to go through and document why pro-life is a blasphemy against the Word of God, why it's Revelation 17 harlot, why we should never be letting Caesar make any laws whatsoever, pro or con abortion, and how to really view the matter from the Bible. And I go through the exegesis to prove it. Now, I haven't finished them yet, but there's like 100 and maybe 80, 200 more verses I got to do. But I've already done over 100 verses proving this. And of course the pro-lifers hate it. Well, too bad. The sixth and probably last series that will be of importance to you will be the Genesis with Exegesis series, where it's demonstrated what I had said earlier about the angelic conflict, that God created the universe probably in an instant, but we can't prove that from the text, in Genesis 1:1. Then there's this hiatus of unspecified time that occurs between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2, and in Genesis 1:2 and following there is a 6-day literal restoration of the earth. Now, in the Genesis with Exegesis videos, you cannot see them all in YouTube, unfortunately. But if you click on the first video in the Genesis with Exegesis playlist, the video description will take you to the web page where I have put all of the videos, there's 47 of them, in the series that actually walk you through the Hebrew and the Greek, and also overlap with how God orchestrates time to show you what the Bible actually does say about it. And the upshot is that it doesn't really confirm or deny what evolutionists claim about the age of the earth, but what it does instead is assert, why there was this gap in time. It covers the why, not how much. The Bible's focus is entirely different. The Bible's focus is about the creation of the man. That's what Genesis means in Greek. The man, not the universe. And Genesis 1 is a true story, but it's a picture of how something started out good, went bad, and now it's being restored. And it's a picture of salvation. But it's literally true that it was recreated and restored in 6 literal days. And when that was, nobody knows. Okay? So that's the 6th thing about my playlist that will be different from what you find. There are a lot of people out there now. 50 years ago this wasn't true, but there are a lot of people out there now who realize that there's a big gap in time between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2. So you should be able to find a lot of teaching to support what you're going to see in the videos. But what I do in the videos is just use the Bible itself live before you on-screen the Hebrew. I just walk you right through it. So those are the 6 main things. I guess the 7th series that people have told me that they get a lot out of is Yapping Most High. YMH is the abbreviation. That is basically really advanced theological commentary. First on God's personality, and at the present I'm still doing videos on how God times things. Because God's timing is the doctrine that nobody in Christendom knows, so I have to spend a lot of time explaining it and documenting it and showing you where it is in the Bible. That's about it. If you think of any series you want to see me cover, feel free to let me know. But generally speaking, the kinds of things I do are advanced and heavy and probably controversial. Sorry. If you want to know more about it, see the link in the sidebar will be to serpconch.htm, which is a sort of summary of the main theses of my web pages, and my videos will reflect those web pages.